evening, everyone, and welcome back to the West Garfield Park Youth Council. Once again, I am your host, David Elam, the president of the West Garfield Park Youth Council. The president emeritus of the West Garfield Park Youth Council, which is sponsored by Fathers Who Care. Fathers Who Care is a non-for-profit organization on the west side of Chicago within the West Garfield Park community. Once again, my name is David Elam, and I'm the president emeritus of the West Garfield Park Youth Council. West Garfield Park Youth Council has been comprised of 15 youth from the community whose main focus in the community is to be youth, nonviolent citizens, and be a voice in the community for other young people across the board. Our show will be scheduled every Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. Again, our show will be scheduled every Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. We invite people watching to please call in with their comments and questions at 312-738-1060. Again, that's 312-738-1060. Our show can also be viewed online at www.kntv.org/live. Again, that's www.kntv.org/live. Well, everyone, my guest this evening is no stranger to many of you. I want to bring to you and introduce to others Mr. Joe Moe. Take it home, bro.
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, kind of like David, I'm a president emeritus of the West Garfield Park Youth Council too, so I guess you can call this like Throwback Thursday or whatever. Yeah, but I'm glad to be back. Last show of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get into it. Let's do it.
Well, I thank you, Joe, once again for taking time out of your busy day to come out and be a guest on our television show this evening. You're watching the live interactive television broadcast brought to you by KNTV Channel 21. During the next 25 minutes, we are going to be discussing the topic of community empowerment and the enrichment of our young people. And we invite people to call in with their comments and questions at 312-738-1060. Again, that's 312-738-1060. So, I have a few questions for you if you want to get back into this, what do you call Throwback Thursday, as you called it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, when you think of, we're discussing community empowerment. There's a lot of stuff lately that's been happening in the community. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on. First question is, when you think of community empowerment, what comes to mind?
Oh man, simply empowering your community. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think of quotes by Reverend Jones, like, when real men stand up, little boys sit down. I think of a community being ran by real men, like not the thugs and the gangsters on the corners, but like real men, like men being fathers to their kids, men being role models and mentors, somebody you can look up to. When I think about community empowerment, I think about events such as that's taking place tomorrow, about 6 o'clock on Gladys and Springfield. Come on out and eat, be peaceful, feel some love, Come out and turn up.
Yeah, it's a good thing you just mentioned that, the event. Fathers Who Care will be having a series of events entitled Light in the Night. That is a campaign that has been going on to help reduce senseless violence in the community. It will be our first event will take place tomorrow, June 29th, on the corner of Springfield and Gladys. Like you said, it'll be entertainment for the entire family. It's free food, games. Start time is exactly 5 p.m. Kickoff is at 6, from about 6 to about 10. Once again, that's on the corner of Springfield and Gladys. For more information on that, you can give Fathers Who Care a call about that event, or how you can become maybe a volunteer with Light in the Night, or if you have young people who want to be involved, give us a call at 773-287-5821, or you can visit our website at www.fatherswhocare.org. Okay, another question. Who are you and what is your purpose for existence?
Oh man, me? I'm still that same, to the people that know me from when I was young, I'm still that same snotty-nosed little boy from Cicero and Van Buren. I'm still that same guy. I'm still the same guy from 4725 on Van Buren. That's me. I'm still that same person. I'm the guy that, I live in the suburbs now, but I came back to my community to show other young men that you can make it out. You don't have to be a statistic. You don't have to be this because the world or society says you're going to be that. You don't have to do that. I'm that same guy that when Reverend Jones, when the youth council need me, I'm running, regardless of other things I may have to do, I'm making sure I make time for the youth council. I'm that guy. My purpose for existence is to touch somebody, to change somebody, to help one body. If I could help one person, hey, I've done my job. The fact that I'm able to help multiple people and it's continuing to grow and it's continuing to happen, man, that's a blessing. That's a blessing.
And with the fact of being empowered in the community, first and foremost, what do you think in today's society with a lot of stuff that's going on in the community, what do you believe is the biggest issue our communities face today?
Man, I feel like one of the biggest issues we face as a community is the lack of communication. I feel like it was a communication breakdown, a barrier somewhere. We can't communicate with each other. Like the older cats, the older men, the older women, they feel like they're disconnected from us younger people. Like they feel like it's a generational gap. But how many times are we gonna keep saying it's a generational gap? And when are we gonna start bridging that gap? When are we gonna start doing something about the gap? We can't just keep talking about it. We gotta be about it. Like Migos said, walk it like you talk.
It's one of my favorite songs, actually.
It's decent.
Yeah, it's decent. Okay, I see we have our first set of calls. We're going to get to those calls. We're going to jump back into the conversation. Hello, caller. Thank you so much for calling. You're on with Joseph Moore. Your comment or question, please.
Yes, I have a question for Minister Joseph Moore, and you can chime in if you want 2 days. But my question to you, when you speak about, combining that generational gap, bringing the two together, tell me, how do you think you can do that when you got the youth out here that do not respect the older generation? And as a matter of fact, as far as I'm concerned, the youth out here, they're so busy gang-banging and taking each other's lives and whatnot, it's hard to get any of them to come together. What can be done so that we can try to bridge that gap and stop all of this violence and shooting and lives being taken? And all of a sudden, it's at the point now where it's not even a big deal. The young folks act like it's normal for someone to lose their lives. You go to the funeral, dress up like a thug when you go there, and it's just normal. It's just like another day. Because the older generation don't want to keep going to these young folks' funerals and whatnot, or an older person's funeral because of something that happened by mistake. You get shot by mistake because they out here just randomly shooting up the blocks and whatnot. How can you build that generational gap? How do you get past this chaos that's going on? And I'm going to hang up and listen to you answer my question.
Answer that?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your question. One thing I think we need to do as young people, I think we need to listen to our elders, but I also feel like it will help if the elders listen to the young people too. I feel like that's a big problem as well. Like it's a lot of older people that feel like because they're 50, 60 years old that they can't learn something from us because we're 18, 21, 23. We don't know anything. I feel like we need to bridge that gap of respect. It's going to take some hard work. Yeah, it's going to take some time, but I heard somebody say I had a praying grandmother. That means that they didn't give up. So I mean, if it's gonna happen, the elders are gonna have to. They're gonna have to just keep trying, and they're gonna have to remember like somebody kept trying with them.
Next caller. Hello, caller. Thank you so much for calling. You're on with Joseph Moore. Your comment or question, please.
Comment.
Yes.
Okay, my name is Mary Reed, and I had my own business for 30 years, and I always dealt with younger people. At the present time, I'm working, I've been retired for 20 years, part-time with Congressman Danny Davis. The first thing, the older people got to have something to offer the young people.
True.
The new law passed that you can get everything sealed expunged except sex offender, DUI, harm to animals, and domestic violence. So I wrote up a prior and showed it to the congressman. He said, okay, it's good to make up, you can make them up. And so then the Garfield paper got hold to it, and they put it. I have over 300 young males now that have came to the office, getting their record sealed, getting, if they don't have those 4 things, and getting their background checked. The older people got to have something to offer them, and then they cannot be afraid of them. Walter Jones and I used to work at Family Folks together with teenage boys, and I was with teenage mothers after closing my shop down. So the older people got to figure out a way. How can we offer these young people something to get their attention? By me making that flyer up about the new law being passed and showed it to the congressman, and then it got passed it out and it got into the paper, and then I started getting calls. They started coming in. So they want to relate to the older people, but we got to have something to offer them before they want them to relate to us, and we got to have something to show them that we have made some type of progress. Most of the older people have not made progress themselves, so they cannot tell old people. I had my own business at 30 years old. I had property. I had did a lot of community work. I have a street named after me. I have honor. I have a doctrine, 2 doctrines. So you got to have something to show these young people. You can't be did drugs all your life and been in prison and think these young people are going to listen to you. Now I'm going to hang up and listen to you all.
I agree. You do need to have something to offer young people, but also there needs to be a thing of, like you said, communication and understanding, first of all, what's going on so we can better understand each other. You know, there's always one that feels that they know more than the other, but little do, like Joe said, little do either one of us know. We can each learn something from each other, and that's where it starts. Listening. First of all, you got to listen. Next caller. Hello, caller. Thank you so much for calling. You're on with Joseph Moore. Your comment or question, please.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is DeAndre.
What's up, bro?
Hey, what's going
What's
on,
up,
man?
my brother?
Man, I'm glad to watch y'all, man. Y'all doing good. I appreciate y'all, man, on everything that y'all doing and everything. But my question is, yes, y'all talking about communication. What do y'all feel that young people can do to reach other young people so far as communication to get things better and within the community and the world, period? That's my question. I'm sure if y'all heard me.
Yeah, we heard you. I feel like with that question, as far as to answer that question, I feel like as young people talking to other young people, we have to stop being afraid of each other. We have to stop being afraid to go back to the way things used to be. Right now, everybody's following the trend. Everybody's scared to stand up and be themselves. Everybody's scared to be a leader. Everybody's scared to make that first step and say, nah, I'm not going to do this because this not cool. I'm going to do this because this makes more sense. Everybody's just following somebody because they're afraid that if they do the right thing, they're going to be outcasted and be by themselves. It's crazy nowadays that the norm has become the abnorm and the abnorm has become the norm. We got to get back to the norm. We got to get back to, courting, so to speak. We got to get back to holding doors open for ladies. We got to get back for respecting our elders, respecting children. If you playing house when it's time to really build a house, be there and build a house. We got to get back to being real. We can't just keep talking about being real. We actually got to be real.
Yeah, 100%. Next caller. Hello, caller. Thank you so much for calling. You're on with Joseph Moore. Your comment or question, please.
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. In 1975, Department of Human Service was at 640 North LaSalle. You young people are doing an extremely great job. Even back then, the West Side, they had the same areas where they're highlighting and want to make it seem all bad. But you know what? We older generation of people, we need to be more appreciative of these young people. Look at them, greet them with a smile, whether or not they give you that smile back or not. We're better than what we've been projecting among our kids.
That's very
and
true.
like we always said, kids can't be what they can't see.
Yes, preach up.
And by the way, this is Mrs. Griffin, okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you.
We need to get mad enough and say, hey, we're not going to do it anymore. Work with these young people. But we got to present a better presentation of ourselves.
True.
It's not all these young people's fault. It's our fault. We was here before the young people was. Now figure that out. And thank you so much for accepting my call. And keep up that good work. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Griffin. I totally agree with that caller. I totally agree with that caller. I love elders like that are transparent and honest and not making it seem like my generation and the generation under me just got this bad all on our own. The disconnect came somewhere. The disrespect started somewhere. The disobedience started somewhere. Someone was addicted to something somewhere. It didn't just start with us. And for no second, no minute, I don't want anyone that's listening to the show, watching the show, to think that we're bashing the elders, because we're not. I love my mama. I love my grandmama. I love Reverend Jones. He's an elder. I love them all. But he does know what he be talking about, and sometimes he knows that he can't reach the youth that he's working with by talking as an elder, but he's not afraid to meet them where they're at, because his intent is, I'm gonna meet you where you're at, but I'm also gonna elevate you. I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna, as the old folks say, I'm gonna learn you how to think differently.
Exactly. Yeah. Next caller. Hello, caller. Thank you so much for calling. You're on with Mr. Joseph Moore. Your comment or question, please. Hello.
Hi, this is Keisha.
Hi. How are you?
I have a question
Yes. What's your question?
for Minister Moore. You said when men stand up, boys sit down. So how do you suppose we promote and encourage leadership in our young men?
I feel like that'll happen when we truly start to understand what it is to be a real man, when we stop idolizing the gangbangers and the thugs on the street, and we stop looking over the dude that, he may be collecting garbage, or he may be working as a garbage man or washing cars, but he's doing it to support his family, because he doesn't want to have to go back to the streets, or he doesn't want to take the shortcut or the easy money. He wants to earn it, so when he earns it, it feels better, and he's able to be an example to his son, like, look, this is what I had to do to give you what I didn't have, and I didn't get it from the street. I didn't necessarily get it from the mud, so you just gotta be real.
Next caller. Hello, caller. Thank you so much for calling. Your comment or question, please.
Yes, I have a comment. I want to piggyback on the young lady that called before this caller when she speak about, how you can't just blame the young folks. I agree, but a whole lot of what's going on is because it has gotten to the point now where a lot of parents, mothers and fathers are not raising their children. When they took it out of the system where you're not allowed to discipline your child and this, that, and other, everything went chaotic. A lot of it has nothing to do with what the older generation did. It's what this new generation has been doing. And so now a lot of people are not raising their children. They're just feeding them and clothing them and sending them out in the streets and allowing the streets to raise their children. And the children are out here now disrespectful, foul-mouthed, taking each other's lives and all type of stuff because they have not been raised the right way. And a lot of this has nothing to do with the older generation. A lot of this has to do with who's raising these children. Now speak on that.
Care to chime in, sir?
Also, once again, I agree with that caller. We can't just put it all on the elders, because at the end of the day, young or old, you still make your own decision. So we still make our own decision, but it also started with the elders again, because somewhere somebody stopped paying attention to their child, and their child got loose and got out there and made a bad choice, because maybe their mom wasn't there, maybe their daddy wasn't there, so they got out there and did what they did, causing them to be a 16-year-old mother, a 30-year-old grandma. It's hard enough being a 30-year-old mother, but you trying to put a double title on and make her a 30-year-old grandma. It started somewhere, and it didn't start with us.
Definitely agree on that. It definitely didn't, because there's a lot of times where people tend to confuse the two but I do agree with the caller who just called when she states that this new generation is way out of control. They are, because it makes no sense to me how a young person can sit here and tell an elder, you can't tell me nothing.
Right, true.
How's that?
Right. Yeah.
How's that? And the elders are so quick to say it. I've been before. I've been down the road you trying to go down. I know this, I know that, and they'll let you know in a minute. So it wouldn't pain you to listen. That's where everything is falling out at. We don't listen. We so quick to talk instead of, it's like they say, listen before you speak.
Exactly.
If you listen more times than you talk, then maybe you'll get something better out of what's trying to be said. But if you're just trying to battle back and forth all the time and you're not listening, there's no compromise that's going to get met, because everybody's trying to get their point across and nobody is listening.
And then even when you listen, elders and young people, we need to start listening to understand each other, not listening to reply. Like, it's a difference listening to reply to somebody like, let me just listen so I can see what I'm finna say back. And it's a whole total different ball game listening to understand what is being said by the other person.
And one last question. what role do you play in the community?
Oh man, in my community, I'm right in the middle of West Garfield Park. I'm on Washington Kill, the youngest minister at my church. I'm always in the community. I'm always with Reverend Jones. Whatever Reverend Jones needs me, I'm there. Anything that has to do with youth, I'm there. Whether it's a prayer vigil, whether it's a fundraiser, whether it's a memorial, doesn't matter. I'm there. Anything youth involved, I'm there.
Good. So we'll see you tomorrow, right?
Yeah, you'll see me tomorrow.
Okay.
While the lights on, you'll see.
Okay, while the lights are on. Okay, yeah. But yeah. So, like I said earlier in the show, Fathers Who Care will be having its first Light in the Night event. That will be tomorrow, June 29th. On Springfield and Gladys. Free food, fun games for the kids. Come out, have a nice time. It's going to be nice tomorrow. It's going to be a beautiful day. Come out, have fun, rejoice with us. It's going to be a good time. For more information on that and how young people, if you want to get involved in any summer activities, if you got, you're out of school for the summer, you need something to do, contact Fathers Who Care in the West Garfield Park Youth Council, 773-287-5821, or you can visit our website at www.fatherswhocare.org. Joe, thank you once again for being a guest. You're always powerful, my brother.
Man, thanks for having me.
It's always, a good time when you come out with us and things like that. So, thank everybody for calling in. Y'all were very, intellectual and intriguing this evening. We will see you guys next season when we spring back up. We love you. God bless you. Good night. Keep the faith.